welcome to Cavan Indoor National Championships. We're here today for the Gain All-Tech Autumn Grand Prix League. There's 69 combinations on the start list today and some very big names from Peter Smith, Cian O'Connor and Alexander Butler. Earlier we had a chat to some of the riders. I'm now here with Joan Green. Joan, what horse have you in today's class?
I'm jumping Biscayed Everson. She's Chestermere been jumping the Grand Prix during the year, so it's the first time indoor, so this year we'll see what happens.
We have a different course builder than what we're used to today. What do you think of his track he's put forward?
It's different, yeah. He's taken all the fences off the wall and he's put them all jumping angles and a few turns in it, so it'll be interesting to see how we all cope.
How do you think the time will affect today's class of being the first indoor?
Hopefully not. He's been lenient in his time allows all week, so hopefully it won't be a huge bearing.
Do you think the fact we're moving inside will have any effect on horses?
Most of the horses have jumped indoor all week and they'll be used to it by now. I didn't have my mare here earlier in the week, but we'll see what she does.
How did the show go for you so far?
Good, I've been very happy. Had a few younger horses and had a few good placings, so I've been really happy with them.
I'm now here with Hayley Dunn. Hayley, how was the show for you?
I've had a good week so far. Tidarco's been jumping well. He was clear on Wednesday and he won the class yesterday, the 135. My 6-year-old Flintstone Tiju was going well as too. He was second in the 6-7-year-old qualifier on Wednesday and he finished up 7th in the final last night. It was a big ask for him.
He's a very talented horse with a bright future. What's the plan for next year?
I don't want to push him too much too soon, you know. He's a good horse, but I want to keep him right as well. So just keep him ticking along.
You've had a very busy season. Are you happy with your year so far?
Yeah, I'm happy now. It's gone so quickly. Only have a couple of shows left. I'll do Pony Owners in Mill Street and the Indoor Championships in Kill. That's probably it.
I'm now here with Michael Duffy. What do you think of today's course?
It's big anyways, very technical.
Is there any lines or any fences you think will come down quite often?
Maybe number 9 will come down often, and I think this last fence won't be easy either.
What horse have you in today's class?
Mountain King.
What do you think of your chances?
I think I have a good chance of going clear, I hope so anyways.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
I'm now here with Alexander Butler. What do you think of today's track? We have a different course builder than what we're used to.
Yeah, it's a funny sort of a course. There's a few lines. The last half of the course, last 5-6 fences, there's no lines at all. It's just all off your eye. There's a few tricky distances. You come around the corner to the combination there, and there's 3 fences each side of it there, so it'd be difficult for horses. They won't know which one to go at, but I'd say it should jump good.
How do you think the riders will be affected by the fact there's not many lines?
I'd say it'll affect a few of them because used to lines and being able to keep the same pattern all the time, and now you're going to have to go off your eye all the time, so it's good. It's great to have something different like that.
What horses have you in today's class?
Have an 8-year-old mare by Douglas, Vidal Douglas. She hasn't jumped a Grand Prix before. I had her with me at Rotterdam 2 weeks ago and she won a 140 there, and I jumped her in the Derby on Friday night and she jumped really good there, so I'll be hopeful enough for her.
Did you have a good show here at Cavan?
Having a good show so far, yeah. Last night the 2 aged horses were 3rd and 5th in the 6 and 7-year-old final and a few other places.
There's 69 horses in today's class. Do you think Fanny will make it through to the second round?
The 69, I'd say he'll get 10 or 11, you know, even though this is probably going to be one of the toughest rounds that there is in it because there's so many riders in it, because it looks pretty big, but I'd say there's still going to be 10 or 11.
I'm now here with Eddie Maloney. Eddie, what do you think of today's course?
It looks quite strong for the first Grand Prix inside, but there's a strong field, so I think he has to build it up to height.
Do you think the fact we've moved indoor will have any effect on horses?
Well, most of them should be okay because they've been here most of the week and most of them would have jumped around. But my 2, I just got to jump them yesterday, the 135, so hopefully they haven't done anything since the National Championship, so hopefully we can do something today.
What horses have you here today?
Chatsworth Dan and McCouche Laura.
Do you think that there's any particular lines you'll have to pay close attention to with them?
It should be okay. There's nothing major. Hopefully, if they're informed, they should handle it quite well. It's no bigger than they've been jumping all year.
You followed the Premier all season. Are you planning to follow the Autumn Grand Prix League?
I'll do as much of it as I can because I'm planning to head away again in October, so I might do the first 4 rounds and we'll see after that how it's going. If it's going well, I might have to try to stay at home.
How many clear rounds do you expect? I'm now here with Peter Smith, National Grand Prix League winner. What do you think of today's course?
Looks strong enough. The double of Oxers early on is wide. Number 9 is big. Going to take a bit of jumping, but there's a lot in it.
What horses have you here for today's class?
Same 3 horses that I had last Sunday, so I'd say one more show and they'll be looking for the field.
Do you think the fact we've moved indoor will have any effect on your horses?
It will, of course, yeah. The crowd is close here and it'll be much spookier on them, you know.
Last week you had 3 horses into the jump off. Are you planning a repeat?
It would be lovely, but I can't see it.
We have a very strong field here today with 69 horses. How many do you think will make it through to the jump off?
There's a lot of horses in it. There's a lot of good horses in it. I would say there'd be 15.
Peter, you followed both the Premier Series and the National Grand Prix League. Are you planning on following the Autumn Grand Prix League?
I'll do some of them anyway. I've got some younger horses that need to step up to this level, so I'll try some of them.
I'm now here at Mervyn Clark and Keane O'Connor. What do you think of the track today, Mervyn?
I think he's built a very good course. It's big, it's up to the height, it's long, technical. I think it's a good track, and I think there'll only be 6 or 7 clears in my opinion.
Keane, you have different horses than we're used to seeing out today. Would you like to tell us about those?
Yeah, I have 2 younger horses here, and everything is a 7-year-old. He won the Boomerang in Mill Street, and I have a new 8-year-old called O'Connell Street as well. It's the first indoor show, so it'll be difficult enough. Combination tight off the turn, and as Mervyn said, it's up to height. But there is an awful lot of starters. I think over 60 starters, so he'd probably have 12 clear rounds or so.
Mervyn, you're in form with first and second in the Derby.
Yeah, both horses jump very well. Money Train and Big Boy, and hopefully tonight we can repeat it.
Keane, it's a different track than we're used to seeing with not very many related distance. How do you think this will affect the riders?
Yeah, it's difficult enough with fence 3, double Oxers. You don't see that so much anymore. And the combination of the trill bar going in, the bicycle fence, a bit of a trick fence here of Cavan's, the last jump, that'll probably take a few prisoners as well. So all in all, it's a fair course, but there's a challenge everywhere.
Would either of you like to predict a winner for today's class?
Mervyn Clark.
Keane O'Connor.
Thank you very much. And how many clear rounds do you think we have today? I'm now here at Mark Kinsella. Mark, what do you think of today's course?
It's a very nice course. I think there's a lot of different options for people. I think a couple of different riders are going to make different decisions, and I don't know how many clear rounds. Maybe there'll be 8 clear rounds or something. It's quite big, and he used the arena very well. There's jumps everywhere. So,
do you think the fact we've moved indoor will have any effect on the riders?
I suppose for some horses, for us anyway, the older horses are used to going from inside to outside. Again, every horse is different. The younger ones, maybe the less experienced ones will, but not such an issue, I don't think.
With so many combinations, do you think the jump off will be very fast?
Jump off is going to be very fast. We just walk the course for it. It's nice. There's nice turns, nice lines. It's going to be, depending on how many clears, but it's definitely going to be fast.
Would you like to predict a winner?
Keane.
Thank you very much.
I have to say it.
I'm now here with Peter Gillespie, our international course builder here at Cavan Equestrian. What's the plan for today's track?
Well, today's Grand Prix track is a different sort of track because I haven't made any related distances other than the double or the combination. They're all individual fences where the riders have to find their own striding and their own pattern of riding the course. I haven't put any demands in it. It's really down to their own intelligence and their own skill at riding.
You've been building here all week. What do you think of the standard of Irish rider?
The riding has been excellent. It always is. It's 18 years since I first came here, and a very high percentage of every class has got very naturally talented riders in it.
We had seen some prestigious young horse classes here this week. What do you think of the standard of young horse in Ireland?
The 6 and 7-year-old was an exceptionally good class with quite a lot of very talented horses in it, and we got the track up to the normal height I normally do in the championship here. The 5-year-old, a very good class, a lot in it. Perhaps a few less high standard ones, a lot of very good ones, but the horses in it weren't the greatest year overall, but there were about half a dozen that I wouldn't mind having anyway.
What about today's track? What height have you built up to?
What in this Grand Prix? Well, it's basically a 140, 145 track. I made it very square, and there are parallels in it 160 wide. So I'm asking them to, asking a few questions.
Will your time allowed be a deciding factor?
Well, I don't find in here it ever is, because this is a very big arena. They can keep the pace 350 very, very easily, and the surface is very good jumping surface. And my personal opinion is I don't like excruciatingly tight times, because I think it takes away the skill of jumping, but there has to be an element of time in it, but I hope it to be reasonable.
How many riders do you think will make through to the jump off from a start list of 69?
Well, 69 is rather a lot for a Grand Prix. I don't want too few, because I think it takes the entertainment out of the class. You've got to appeal to the public, and I don't want too many. I mean, if I got less than 6, I'd be very disappointed, and if I got more than a dozen to 14, I'd be very disappointed. But with 69 in the class, numbers sometimes beat the course builder, because the latter riders have watched so many jump the course, they've learned a bit more about it, rather than the early riders who may miss something.
As I mentioned earlier, you're international course builder. Where do you usually build?
Well, I build all over the UK, and I have a very, very busy season, and I go abroad occasionally, but basically I build at the Major Scope Show, which is the biggest show in the UK. I've just done that. That was 7 days, but it means spending 11 days at the show, which makes me very tired, but some very good classes. And I built some championships in Israel, Belgium. I usually come to Ireland about 3 to 6 times a year.